Some say they are Malaysia's most hated airline. Others say it is Air Asia. Whatever it is, Firefly's reputation and operational tactics are stuff consumer nightmares are made of. In this episode, we get on board this subsidiary of the Malaysia Airlines Group and try to uncover why are they so shitty. More importantly, how was my experience flying with them? Stick around to find out.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
G'day guys, and welcome back to my video. I'm coming to you from Subang International Airport, right here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And Subang Airport was the main international gateway for Kuala Lumpur before the current KLIA was built. So this airport has been repurposed into a regional airport, and today I'm getting on Firefly, which is going to take me to another lesser known international airport in a major city, which is Seletar Airport in Singapore. So come along with me because I feel it in my waters already today that it's going to be a very interesting journey. So come along with me and let's see what this Firefly is all about on this flight. Let's do this.
Everybody just do your thing.
As Malaysia's former primary international gateway, Subang Airport was opened in 1965. A very modern airport for its time, it eventually became capacity constrained before getting replaced in 1998 by KLIA in Subang as Malaysia's main international airport. Although the official name of Subang became Lapangan Terbang Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah in 1996, many of us still refer to this location as Subang Airport. So much so, when the three-letter code of KUL was transferred to KLIA when they opened, this airport adopted the code of SZB in recognition of its more popular name of Subang Airport. If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. Born and bred in Singapore, I now call Australia home, and I create heaps of flight reviews, the occasional train journey, and destination vlogs. This travel series will see me touch down in Perth, and from there I fly to Malaysia, where I get on a couple of domestic flights. I then fly to Singapore, but not in the way we normally do. I fly back to Australia the long way, via an overnight stop in the Philippines, where I then get on the final long-haul red-eye to the land down under. These videos will be linked in the description in chronological order as and when they're published. Make sure you hit subscribe and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever an episode goes to air. Even better, become a member of my channel for early access to these videos. So without further ado, let's get this video started. The year is 2001. No one could have known that of all places in Asia, Kuala Lumpur would be ground zero for the figurative nuclear explosion of the low-cost travel phenomenon, which would eventually sweep across Asia. Air Asia, a low-cost airline, started flights with a pair of 737s in September 2001, which was handed down by a previous airline of the same name. Many in the industry thought that Tony Fernandes was crazy to assume the debt-ridden airline's liability of $11 million. He then went on to transform Air Asia into a multinational powerhouse of an airline, which spans across 6 countries, covering 22 hubs and 130 destinations. Suddenly, most regional legacy airlines started to take notice and began tripping over each other in quick time, starting their own low-cost offshoots. Garuda Indonesia was the first to start CityLink in 2001, followed by Singapore Airlines with Tiger Airways in 2003 and Thai Airways with Nok Air in 2004. Low-cost travel in this region was ready and primed for takeoff. Taking into context the situation at Malaysia Airlines at the end of the 1990s heading into the new millennium, they were at their largest in terms of size. As one of the biggest airlines in Southeast Asia, they were also one of the most financially broken. Despite that, there was a lot of pride flying the Malaysian flag, and the last thing on their mind was to create a low-cost airline offshoot. The airline's leaders of that time were openly dissing AirAsia, emphasizing that Malaysia Airlines is a full-service premium airline, and did not wish to participate in the race to bargain basement central. Imagine that. How the tables have turned.
Check-in done. So I've got my boarding pass for the flight to Seletar Airport. I've selected priority service, so there is an option for you to do it when you're booking with Firefly. So that gives you, I guess, a priority counter, and there is a priority baggage tag as well. And there is also an option for lounge access. So now we're going to check out the lounge. The Sky Lounge, that's where I have access to, so let's see what's going on there. I've actually forgotten all about the options that I've selected because I booked this flight quite a couple of months ago. I've forgotten all about it until I saw the priority tag on the baggage. So I was like, why is there a priority tag? And the check-in agent was like, sir, you booked the priority service? Oh yes, now I remember. Yeah, so Sky Lounge is part of the option. I think it was about a 38 ringgit add-on, which is not a lot of money, 38 ringgit. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen right now, how much it's that according to the current exchange rates at the time of doing this video. Yeah, so let's head to Sky Lounge.
The Sky Lounge is a contract lounge supporting airlines operating out of Subang. If you have memberships with Priority Pass, Lounge Key, and Dragon Pass, you can gain entry as well. Anyway, this is a really nice enough option to have, and a really quiet area to pass time if you've come to the airport too early to escape the incessant humidity outside. By the way, the nasi lemak here is made to order. I think the attendant goes elsewhere to get it because I don't see a kitchen here. But somehow it magically appeared out of nowhere after I was asked if I'd like a serve. I'll never say no to nasi lemak, even though my Aussie tummy tells me otherwise. By the time Malaysia Airlines decided they had no choice but to start a low-cost airline or risk losing their market share, it was already mid-2007. And that was when Firefly Airlines was born. The inaugural flight was carried out on the 3rd of April from Penang to Kota Baru, and the airline started operations with a pair of Fokker 50s, which came from who else but Malaysia Airlines. The intention was for Firefly to be low cost, but their product provided complimentary drinks and snacks on board, which made it no different from Malaysia Airlines on these short domestic routes. While onlookers scratched their heads from the sidelines, their early strategy was to connect domestic destinations which were considered underserved, like Langkawi, Alosta, and Kuala Terengganu, and linking them with Penang and Subang airports, the latter two airports which were the decided hubs of this new airline. Firefly, like its parent company, does boarding in group numbers. Since I've selected the priority package, I get to board as group number 1. As an aviation content creator, I try my hardest to document as much of the aircraft cabin as I can without crew or passengers coming into frame. So I'll be one of those annoying travelers who stand in line some 5 years before boarding is announced. Being in group number 1 really helps. Quicker than you can say how much wood could a woodchucker chuck if a woodchucker could chuck wood, the Fokker 50s were retired by the end of 2008, being replaced by a brand new fleet of ATR 72s, suddenly making Firefly the airline with the region's youngest fleet at that time. This afternoon, we were boarding one such aircraft registered as Foxtrot Yankee Lima. an ATR 72 which first flew in August 2011 and delivered factory fresh from the oven to Firefly, making her just under 14 years old at the time of writing. Firefly being Firefly, all the aircraft feature 100% economy seating only. So this ATR 72 has a capacity for, 72 passengers in a 2x2 configuration. On this flight, I've chosen a seat in front, breaking the norm of my usual last row when flying in economy. The seat itself has a painful pitch of 29 inches, but my short legs offer a little reprieve. The seats are upholstered in leather, making any surface contact a little sticky on this humid afternoon. There's thankfully air nozzles to cool me down slightly. There's also this single fold-down tray table, and pocket contents include a safety card, in-flight shopping menu, and an in-flight magazine from Malaysia Airlines called Going Places. I've done my fair share of flights on ATRs, and this is the first one that I've flown on where their seats have a recline function. By the end of the decade, Firefly was operating 12 ATR 72s and was on its way to solidify its position as a regional airline. Up till now, it wasn't exactly going head-to-head with AirAsia just yet. Speaking of which, by 2010, AirAsia had grown so large it had its own specially built terminal at KLIA. And it also started 2 other overseas franchises in Thailand and Indonesia. Not wanting to be left behind, in December 2010, Firefly deviated from its original strategy and ordered 30 Boeing 737-800s, which were intended to be used to fly longer domestic routes to Sabah and Sarawak. And it also allowed Firefly to expand their international network to Indonesia and Thailand. Let's just say it was too little too late, because by then, not only had Firefly had to compete with AirAsia, Malindo Air had also come into the playground. The battle was fierce, and Firefly found it challenging to find its footing. This was compounded by organizational inefficiencies and the high costs associated with running different fleets within an airline who was trying to be lean. As a result, by August 2011, less than 2 years into jet operations, Firefly threw in the towel and ended their 737 operations. This afternoon, I was on FY 3130, one of the 6 daily flights flown by Firefly between the airports of Subang and Seletar. Our takeoff would see us zigzagging away from the administrative capital city of Putrajaya, before skirting along the western coast of Peninsular Malaysia. We would then fly inland over the state of Johor, before turning south to enter Singapore airspace and landing in Seletar Airport after a flight time of 1 hour 30 minutes, clocking a distance of 325 kilometers. Following the departure of jet services with the airline in 2011, Firefly spent the rest of the decade trying to consolidate itself. With a 100% turboprop fleet, their market reach was understandably very limited. While they were still meant to be the lower-cost subsidiary of Malaysia Airlines, they were by no means a low-cost carrier. This confusing messaging resulted in the airline floundering along as the market share for both AirAsia and Malindo Air continued to grow. By 2018, the airline was struggling financially, contributing only 3.5% of the total revenue for the Malaysia Airlines Group, underscoring the difficulty in trying to compete effectively with much larger and better-run domestic airlines. If you're struggling to compete against an airline like Malindo Air, which is partly owned by the Lion Group, known for its dodgy products, then you've pretty much set up home in Shitsville. On today's flight, there was no buy on board. Instead, we were provided with bottled water, a packet of salted nuts, and Famous Amos chocolate cookies. These salted peanuts are similar to the ones found on Malaysia Airlines, just packaged differently. And Famous Amos is such a retro childhood snack for me. Being back in this part of the world and snacking on such nostalgic flavors surely brings back a lot of memories for me growing up in Singapore. For an airline with such a seemingly unsure outlook, with no set direction, this kind of energy definitely trickled down towards their employees. Extremely negative reviews center about frequent, consistent delays and time changes. Passengers with confirmed bookings also report these time changes happen with little to no notice. And of course, the last-minute cancellations with no alternatives. Why stop there? Let's add on an incredibly frustrating refund process and no real recourse to address your dissatisfaction. Therefore, Google is unsurprisingly scoring this airline rather lowly, with bad feedback coming in fast and furious. This awesome reputation of Firefly is still an ongoing developing story, which does not seem to be improving till today. Like most airlines around the world, Firefly operations was mothballed for slightly over a year during the COVID-19 pandemic, which interrupted their financial trajectory. As the world came out of that, Firefly decided the time was ripe for another 180-degree change in their strategy, as they reintroduced jet operations back into their fleet in January 2021. Wait, hang on. Let's cut them some slack. Coming out of COVID-19, revenge travel were the two key words, so Firefly thought they were poised to tap into that market of pent-up desire to travel. Unlike their previous attempt with the 737s based out of KLIA, they decided to operate these jets out of Subang Airport. Additionally, besides Penang and Subang, they also created one more hub in Kota Kinabalu International, Malaysia's second busiest airport. So now, Jet Operations Mark II. We're in 2025, and it has unsurprisingly begun to unravel. Subang Airport, while it used to be a bustling international airport capable of handling all aircraft types, the passenger terminals which catered to large jets have all been demolished, leaving only the present Sky Park Terminal, which is extremely limited in its capabilities. As for shoehorning 737 operations into this terminal, the movement is limited to 1 jet per hour because of parking constraints. There's also a curfew to deal with, because since 1998, residential developments around the aerodrome has expanded exponentially, further curtailing any form of expansion for jet operations by any airline, not just Firefly. Therefore, in another monumental strategic shift, Firefly announced in July 2025 it was relocating its jet operations back to KLIA, effective from mid-August. This meant a notice of less than 3 weeks for those holding bookings departing Subang on those 737 flights. The call center was inundated with queries, and reports of agents not knowing what to do began flooding social media. Once again, the excruciating experience of refunds from this darling of an airline rose to the surface, with stories after stories about how useless they are in dealing with issues. The Firefly Airlines story is ever developing. With so little stability because of the ever-changing business plan, it's not surprising the organization can never gain enough momentum to balance themselves upright. Meanwhile, the financial performance of Firefly isn't reported independently. Instead, all 3 subsidiaries under the Malaysia Airlines Group have their performances combined into one. So while the airline group as a whole has achieved operational profits, bearing in mind their previous billion-dollar debt was written off courtesy of the taxpayer, Firefly's performance was mentioned in just one sentence. So, to recap, my journey today was uneventful, beginning at Subang Airport. The lounge access was a nice touch, the flight was on time, and the service on board was very good. I don't expect any less because the flight attendants on Firefly have been trained by the very same people at the Malaysia Airlines Academy. Even their grooming standards are very similar to Malaysia Airlines. Although there was no buy-on-board food and drinks, I thought the snacks and bottled water provided was adequate. The buy-on-board is only available for 737 services. Would you fly Firefly? They seem like an airline which works well until they don't. Have your say in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. As we approach Seletar Airport in Singapore, I'm reminded of my last time at this aerodrome. I was piloting my own Cessna 152. So this approach brings back heaps of memories. For now, let's draw this video to a close and join live Ryan at the hotel to wrap up.
Well guys, so welcome to Singapore, and that was my flight with Firefly Airlines from Kuala Lumpur, Subang to Singapore Seletar Airport. I mean, it's a very interesting flight because the last time when I landed in Seletar Airport, I was actually piloting my own aircraft, a Cessna 152. So it was a little walk down memory lane for me to see how much Seletar Airport has changed. So yeah, that was Firefly Airlines for you. Anyway, I've chucked details of my Instagram on your screen right now, so make sure you hit me up there, chuck me a follow, so you can come along with me on my travels in real time. Of course, more importantly, do not forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification icon, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye!